especially on a national stage and where you have some hope. You have momentum going into this game, and unfortunately, the hog train, it came to a screeching halt. You just got to figure out a way to get the engine going, put some coal in that boiler, and get this thing rolling down the tracks coming up next week. And, a little bit of a score update is your opponent next week, Ole Miss. They're down early 14-0, about middle of the second quarter to go. So you're feeling a little good about that next week as long as Ole Miss is enjoying the same type of treatment that you got today.
All right, we're going to be with you till 5:30. We're going to get the phone lines cranked up here in a little bit, and I probably ought to crank up the delay, too, after an early start for many of you out there. So, hey, I've got my finger on the button. I'm watching every one of you out there, all right? So, 877-377-6963. You can call or text at that number and get a hold of us here. We'll take your thoughts on today's game, and Arkansas coming up short 37-0, Drew.
Yeah, we'll take your phone calls on the other side of the break. Do want to remind y'all that this is Hog Reaction, brought to you by the Game Day Lodge, the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team-building activities. 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, pool, poker table, arcade, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, fire pit, gas tables, cornhole, outdoor basketball court, swimming pool, everything that you could possibly want in a house, it is there. 5-minute walk to Table Rock Lake, 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City, the perfect retreat place to go to for any Razorback game. Chiefs, Cowboys, Cardinals, Rangers, Missouri Tigers, Sooners, Kansas Jayhawks, anybody out there, this is the best place to be. Great golf courses are in the area. For reservations, contact them at reservations@lakelodges.rent. Game Day Lodges on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And while you're there, ask about Green Gables Lodges as well. We'll be right back here after a disappointing day in Athens, Georgia, right here on Hog Reaction on ESPN Arkansas.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team-building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
It's fall in the River Valley, and that means cooler temperatures in the morning, pleasant temperatures in the afternoon. One of the other things you can count on in the fall, the red-hot deals continue at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. If you're looking for a new F-150, if you're looking for new Mustangs, if you're looking for quality check pre-owned vehicles, the place to stop is 5500 Rogers Avenue at Randall Ford. Fourth oldest Ford dealership in America, my friend, right here in your own backyard. Stop in and see us today.
Hello, my name is Tabitha. Because of your donation to United Way of Fort Smith area, I received treatment for my addiction to drugs. My life was completely unmanageable and I had very little hope for myself. I desperately wanted to be a mother to my children, and without the help I received from United Way Agency, this may never have happened. The life you touched was mine. For information on how you or your workplace can get involved, visit us on the web at unitedwayfortsmith.org or call 782-1311.
Reduce your home energy bills while increasing your comfort. AOG and OG&E are offering a weatherization program that provides free home energy efficiency upgrades to current customers in Arkansas. If your home is at least 10 years old, it may qualify for these upgrades, which include attic insulation, caulking, air sealing, weather stripping, and LED lighting. To find out how you can benefit from these free home weatherization improvements, contact 844-413-3065 or visit AOGC.com.
Messy leaks, stopped up toilets and sinks, all of these can be a nightmare. This is Emily with Mr. Rooter Plumbing in Fort Smith. Did you know that when you call Mr. Rooter, you get real-time tracking so you know exactly when to expect us? We know you're busy, so we send a reminder, so scheduling with us is convenient. When you need plumbing, call Mr. Rooter in Fort Smith or book online at mrrooter.com. We're your neighborly company.
I tell you, Jeb, I'm fed up with the heat, the bugs, the high prices. I'm gonna look for a new place to live.
You gonna call Ellie Gladwell? She helped you get this house.
Nah, place I'm looking for is far away, way far away.
Why don't you sleep on it?
I done slept on it. I slept on it for 20 years. I got ideas, Jeb. Big ideas. You wait. You'll see.
NickandEllie.com. Equal housing opportunity. Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Are you in need of roofing repairs or maybe more? Construction Master Roofing, who has been under new management since 2019 with over 25 years of experience, is who you need to call. Estimates are free, and military, first responders, and medical workers receive 5% off. Construction Master Roofing guarantees their work, and the number you need to call is 648-8888 in the River Valley, and in Oklahoma, call 918-859-4714. Construction Master Roofing, the roofing company that cares and gets the job done.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
Deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Monteric Brown.
Hog Reaction is behind enemy lines thanks to Reed's Metals of Benton and Big Red Stores of Central Arkansas.
Welcome back into Hog Reaction out here at Randall Ford, and that's exactly where you need to be. I know you're sad. I know you're disappointed, but there's one cure for that, and that's right here at Randall's Ford. Come get you a brand new or pre-owned vehicle out here at Randall's Ford on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, where they got new F-150s in stock, 0% for 72 months financing for Ford F-150s throughout this weekend. Huge pre-owned inventory. Number one truck in America for 44 years running. Also, all new Broncos are right here in stock, the hottest selling SUV. You got to get out here. Randall's Ford, the fourth oldest Ford store in America, family owned and operated, serving Fort Smith and the River Valley since 1908. Getting to our texts and calls here in this segment, so send those in. Text us, call us at 877-377-6963. Going to the phone lines now, we have Pig Suey on I-40. Pig Suey, what's your Hog Reaction?
Man, I think overhyped from the press. I mean, we'll take it. I mean, because we needed some hope, had some hope. But I'm here to tell you, when Kurt Curbstreet was saying, have we ever had 3 penalties called on one single team? I mean, that looked like Chad Morris football with the penalties that we had. And I'm pretty upset about it. But I mean, it's just, we just got our butts kicked, and it was sad. It was tough. My buddy lost $500.
Oh.
And I just hope we can get this thing turned around.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of negatives you just talked there about Pig Suey, but is there anything positive that you saw? You know, don't want to keep the negativity going.
Yeah, they didn't play a fifth quarter.
We need something here, don't we?
Well, I think that Ole Miss is at the level of us, and then we may have a chance for a win next week. That's the positivity. That we're 4-1 versus a Chad Morris team. That is the positivity. But at the end of the day, we did get our butts handed to us. We got beat on the line of scrimmage. To me, that's unacceptable for a San Fedman team. But we've got next week, so I'm looking forward to next week. Go Hogs.
Yeah. And I appreciate the call, Pigs. I think Sam Pittman's just, while you have some veteran players and some super seniors, he's still got to recruit some of those manibles that they've got at Georgia. You don't have Jordan Davis. I mean, as much as we love Ridgeway and as much as we love Trey Williams and Zach Williams and Utsey, they don't compare to what Georgia puts on that front line. And Georgia's offensive line, Drew, just much more the prototypical run-first, downhill SEC offensive line from tackle to tackle. And bottom line is that's what Sam's trying to build here. Now, disappointed in the outcome? Absolutely. Disappointed you got punched in the mouth at the line of scrimmage, down in and down out? Yeah, but you went into a gunfight with a knife today, and you lost.
Yeah, he did. And, ultimately on the front line, and Pig Suey brought up, Chad Morris. And you're still, even though with every great thing that Sam Pittman has built and Sam Pittman has done over the last 2 years, still digging your way out of a Chad Morris who's, when it came to play inside the trenches, his ideology was he wanted smaller and faster linemen to play in the SEC. Like, it was ridiculous then, and it's still ridiculous now. So you're still trying to build your way out there. And I'm not saying that as a knock on the guys that you have on the roster, but the guys that you saw against Georgia, Sam Pittman helped recruit some of those guys. That is the product. That is the ideal Sam Pittman line. And once you're able to recruit to that level and you're able to get that big guys in there, it's nothing but greener pasture and brighter days looking forward. I truly believe going forward, days like today are going to be very few and very, very far between.
I guarantee you over a cold one, Sam Pittman would tell you, hey, what Georgia was today is exactly what we want to be in 2 to 3 years. But you got to recruit those kind of players, and you got to recruit those kind of linemen. I think you got the right quarterback to run the system Kendall Browse has. I think you got a few of the pieces that you need, but Arkansas just got outmatched. And we saw what happened today when you couldn't get pressure with 3, and Georgia just had too much, and it was, they just ran the ball. The stats are what they are. We went over it earlier. I mean, Georgia ran the ball 56 times for 273 yards. And every time they would get 4 or 5 yard push at the line of scrimmage, and White and Cook just went downhill for seemingly 4 or 5 yards every time they wanted to. Arkansas never really gave up the big play. The longest rush of the day for Georgia was 24 yards. The longest catch of the day was 27. It was just death by 1,000 cuts. And it was also some self-inflicted cuts today too, Drew, with the penalties, the block punt. Georgia did plenty to beat Arkansas. Don't misunderstand me, but Arkansas did a few things to aid in their own demise today.
Yeah, Arkansas didn't help themselves. 13 penalties for over 100 yards. I mean, that's unacceptable regardless of what level of football you're playing. That's unacceptable.
3-on-1 play. You're
playing on Thursdays.
Yeah, I mean, you run up, you line up in the neutral zone. That makes it easy. So that's a free play. As any seasoned quarterback, and I know Stetson Bennett was listed number 2 on the depth chart, but he's a seasoned, played like a seasoned vet, and has plenty of snaps under his belt today. He knew what he had there. Then Arkansas holds, commits a pass interference. I mean, it was just a train wreck for that one play.
Yeah, it was just a train wreck, and there were a lot of different train wrecks, and I'm interested to hear. I doubt Sam Pittman's going to address it publicly or a lot, just how much that crowd at Georgia really played a factor, and was there that shock factor of, oh my goodness, we can't hear each other. This is the first time where we cannot communicate and we can't hear, and if that's the case, then got to figure out a different way of getting silent counts of.
Oh yeah.
They talked about the clap snaps and stuff like that when you hear the snap, but then you had a false start on your center because he couldn't hear it.
Well, there's 93,000 people clapping too, so I mean that was a little bit of a problem in those first couple of series where Arkansas had multiple false start penalties. In Cunningham, and particularly when you get out on the bookends, Drew, you get even further away from the communication. So. Hey, it'll be a learning experience. You got scraped up. You got your nose bloodied today, but you'll survive to live and to fight another day. So this does not end the season. This does not end the possibility of having a great season. You didn't lose to Mississippi State 37-0 today. You didn't lose to Vanderbilt. You didn't, you lost to maybe the best team in the country. That will be decided at some point. But you telling me that Georgia's way behind Alabama? I don't know. Alabama's number one until proven otherwise, but Georgia isn't that far behind.
Yeah, we get a text out of the 479 who kind of talks about that and says that he's at least hopeful for what might come, saying he knows that we're not in Alabama, but watching them crush Ole Miss, he thinks that you can run with the Rebels next week, and that's ultimately what you got to look towards. I know this is Hog Reaction. We're going to talk plenty about this Georgia game and what went wrong, and try to look for the needle in the haystack of the positives that could have been there. But looking forward, you still feel confident going forward. You still aren't shaking in your boots with the Fighting Lane Kiffins next week.
No, and we'll see. That game last I looked was 21-0, and Ole Miss had fumbled the ball, and Alabama had it. I don't know if they've gotten it in to go up 4 scores, but they were up 3 scores. So that game going much like the game we saw earlier. So there'll be 2 teams licking their wounds next week in Oxford, and somebody trying to avoid 2-game skid here. So it'll be an important game for Ole Miss and Arkansas next week to not dig themselves into a deeper hole. Somebody's going to, though.
Somebody will, and you hope that it is those Land Sharks, Black Bears, Rebels, whatever you want to call them, down there in Oxford, Mississippi, who are having to look in the mirror and look at a back-to-back weeks with L's there for Ole Miss. Back to the text line. You can text us. You can call us with your Hog Reaction, 877.
It is 28-0 Bama, so with under a minute
even
to go.
Better, even better.
So.
Text, call, 877-377-6963. Mitchell from Lincoln texted us saying, Pittman coming from Georgia should have these guys knowing the kind of crowd it would be. Game plan was not played at all, which, yes, Sam Pittman can talk about it. He can tell them what it's going to be like. We hear stories from a lot of different coaches who at practice during the week will blare in crowd noise, to try to get them ready. But until you're in the real atmosphere, until you're hearing 93,000 people live yell at you, it's different. There is really no way to prepare a team for an atmosphere like that until you go through it. And that's just that's just the facts about it, people. I mean, yes, the crowd played a big part in this game, but there's no way that you can really prepare them for 877-377-6963. Wade from Mountain View, he texts us in with his Hog Reaction. He says, I think it's pretty simple. We're not 8 good, definitely not too good. Our wins over Texas and Texas A&M with their second-string quarterbacks are not what they looked on paper. We have a good team, just have room to go. And there's plenty of room to go. There's plenty of room to grow, and this team will figure it out. I think you have a great coaching staff, a veteran coaching staff, not only in your head coach who has had 20, 30-plus years of coaching experience. You have a former head coach in Barry Odom. You have a great offensive mind in Kendall Briles. They're going to figure this out. Yeah. They're going to have a meeting. They're going to rebound, and they're going to look better going forward.
Yeah. All right, let's take a few phone calls here, get some of your Hog reactions today. Brad is an umpire. We'll start there in this segment. Brad, what is your Hog reaction?
Well, first of all, the people that are going to get out on a limb and say we're not heading in the right direction, well, they're wrong. I mean, you don't build a dynasty overnight. I think we got the right people in place to get it done. But the positive that I want to bring today is that the Georgia game is over with. It's behind us.
That's a good point.
Anybody that thought we were going to go to Georgia and steamroll a team of that caliber, they need to go re-examine their football knowledge and take a better look at what they know about the game, because we're not there yet. We're headed that direction, but you don't get there in 2 years, or actually a year and a half. If you want to go back and look at last year's full slate of SEC games, it just don't happen that quickly.
With no on campus,
will it ever happen? Who knows? But
yeah,
nobody can complain where we're at.
Yeah.
They call themselves a Hog fan.
Yeah, Brad, that's a good take, and to your point, you don't also build it, Drew, without on-campus recruiting for the better part of that time period either. Now, I know no one else had it either, but that's exactly what Sam Pittman was faced. I agree with Brad. I think you got the right leaders, the right people in place. It takes time. I think today you saw what you want to become. I mean, you were looking in the mirror and you're not quite there. I guess you're young enough to get this reference. There's a meme or something from the Lion King out there where you're seeing the young Simba and the old Simba or whatever, and he's looking in the mirror and the younger one sees the older one and vice versa. That's kind of what you saw today as a young up-and-coming program under Sam Pittman that wants to become the mature program that Kirby Smart inherited and has built upon in Georgia. Now, Arkansas is just not there yet. That's what they aspire to be. Will they get there? I don't know, but that's what they want to be.
I honestly, with the momentum that you've got, that's exactly what you want to become, and that's what you need to become in the SEC. There's plenty of different ways to I'm not going to use that expression. I'm not going to use that. There's plenty of different ways to cut a turkey. Is a different way to say it. But when you play in the SEC, when you play in a ground and pound type of league where the big nasties are ultimately the things that get the game plan going, you just got to recruit that level, and you got to be able to compete with those type of teams. And this team will eventually get there. It's gonna take time. He's right. Rome was not built in a day. No, Georgia wasn't built in a day. Alabama wasn't built in a day. Nobody else of these programs were built overnight. It's a long course of time that takes a lot of time, and ultimately all those programs that I just talked about with Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, even look at Ryan Day at Ohio State. Right. None of them had to literally climb their way out of a Chad Morris size hole.
Right.
So,
but they all did.
You got to give them credit.
What was the one thing all those programs you just mentioned did? You just answered the question.
They recruited well.
They all found the right head coach.
That's it.
You went through the list there. Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Ryan. I mean, Urban Meyer would be thrown in that list with Florida and Ohio State. You could go down. What did all of those great programs do to get to the top of their mountain? They found the right head coach. What program hardly ever do you see a program get there without the right head coach? And has Arkansas found their right head coach? We feel like it's a really good fit. Well, whether or not Sam can get to the mountaintop, we know we're just worlds better than you've been for a decade in that spot. But it's all about finding the right head coach. And I know this: you've got a guy that loves Arkansas, loves this program. He's here to stay in Fayetteville, and that's more than half the battle is finding the right leader for your program, and I think they've checked that box. It just the rest of it's what we were talking about there. You got to have a little more time. All right, let's squeeze in one more call here before we hit the break. Gary is in Fayetteville. Gary, what is your Hog reaction?
Well, I'm sick to my stomach like everybody else, but same thing has plagued Arkansas the last 3 or 4 games, and that's penalties, missed tackles, and drop passes. That has killed them. They could have won a lot of these other games a lot with higher scores if they hadn't shot themselves in the foot a lot of times. And the other thing too, I think these fellows have had they won 7 games in 3 years, and all of a sudden they're in the national spotlight, got a chance to play for number 1 or number 2, and I think it just maybe overwhelmed them. They get out there and they're facing that crowd like never before, and they just kind of fold like a house of cards.
Yeah. Kind of peed down one leg there, didn't they, Gary? So.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, I did too. A little
anyway, you were talking about him. Well, I was about to throw up.
No, it was bad there early.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it was sickening. But nevertheless, I think Sam Pittman's got them on their way. And I guess a positive thing to draw this is that nobody got hurt, did they?
Just her feelings. I mean, we got a pretty bad feeling sprain.
Other than that,
got her feelings sprained pretty bad. Just got a feeling.
Yeah, if we don't have, it's a good thing Jefferson or Burke, something like that, didn't get hurt, or Ridgeway or anybody as far as that goes.
Well, as far as we know, I mean, sometimes that doesn't come out till later, but it appears you came out of this game, without any catastrophes. So.
Yeah. But, I mean, the thing about it, you look at Ole Miss, I watched some of it a while ago, and Alabama was kind of taking them to school a little bit. And
I hate to see it.
I was kind of hoping it played out where we would have beat Georgia. Yeah, we would beat Georgia, and Ole Miss beat Alabama and had a big showdown next week. But we may have a battle for number 2 next week.
Well, and that's exactly right.
That's better than, battling for 5 or 6,
Well,
but,
we've
there's
seen
no
the
reason
day.
why Arkansas.
We've seen the day where 5 or 6 was better than what we were, though. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still tickled to death, and I still think that they can pull out. If they kind of get their act together and they give Alabama a good ball game and possibly pull an upset there, I mean, that would be great too. And that way you still could win the West and maybe get a rematch with Georgia.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that's a good thing, but nevertheless, I mean, with the experience that that they're gaining through all this, I think it's going to help them. And Sam's right in there with them. But, and I'm glad for it.
Gary, that's a good take. We appreciate the call. Drew, I think we're on the same page here. This is not the end of the season. This does not, spell gloom and doom. It just, you got hit in the mouth today. You couldn't get off the mat. This was a Mike Tyson early 90s boxing match. That's what we had today. It was over in about 90 seconds. And that's pretty much sums up the day we had today.
That is exactly what they had today. And, they talked about boxing analogies. Kirby Smart's a big boxing fan. And I think Jake in Magazine sums it up and puts it in the best light that you can. And this goes back to some of the best advice I was ever personally given. And it equates to this team. He says, my reaction is that this was a good game to gauge where we are not as a team. We talk about positives and we talk about what you want to be, right? In any walk of life, whether it's football, professionally, it's good to know what you want to be and where you want to be, but it's also very, very good to know what you don't want to be, what you do not want to become, and what type of team you don't want to be. You don't want to be a team that folds. You don't want to be a non-physical team, and this is a good example. Jake Magazine put it great, is you're take everything that you learned today and you say, this is not what's going to happen going forward. This is not who we're going to be. And that is just as important as learning what does work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think there'll be plenty from this game tape that the coaches can peel out of there and coach on. And, hey, good coaches will also find the things that went well and build them back up. But I think Sam Pittman is the kind of coach, and he's got the kind of staff that they'll put this one behind them. He'll have to, because you go to Oxford and you play another really good football team in Ole Miss, who's trailing 4 touchdowns at the half to Alabama. So you got to buckle it back up. You got to let this one go. So they will. They'll be better, and this team's not done winning this year.
Yeah, before we get to breaks, going to steal this one. I know Clay Henry is going to use this all week. To quote the great Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. 5-second memory, head on to the next one. We're going to take your calls and text 877-377-6963. Throughout the show, going to hear from Ty from behind Emily. Those lines where the other people are that I can't say, you don't like them. Those are the bad people. We're going to hear from behind the bad people line coming up here shortly. Text calls 877-377-6963 on Hog Reaction, brought to you by Game Day Lodge. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on ESPN Arkansas.
Yeah, we're live at Randall Ford. And, again, if you want to call or text 877-377-6963, you can call or text the program. We'll take your Hog Reactions here all afternoon. We're here till 5:30 today. It's Hog Reaction on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Don't drop the ball. Talk to your doctor about prostate health today. A man has a 1 in 7 chance of developing prostate cancer in his lifetime. It's the second leading cause of cancer-related death in Arkansas men. Catch it early. It doesn't have to knock you down. Join the Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation and their partners for free health education screenings for men ages 45 to 75. Go to arprostatecancer.org for a calendar of screening events near you. When it comes to prostate health, don't drop the ball.
Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith has COVID vaccinations available today for you and your family. Law's Drugstore has the Pfizer vaccine for ages 12 and up. The vaccine is safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Just call 452-6116 to schedule your appointment or stop by Law's Drugstore at 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. Call them now, 452-6116.
Reduce your home energy bills while increasing your comfort. AOG and OG&E are offering a weatherization program that provides free home energy efficiency upgrades to current customers in Arkansas. If your home is at least 10 years old, it may qualify for these upgrades, which include attic insulation, caulking, air sealing, weather stripping, and LED lighting. To find out how you can benefit from these free home weatherization improvements, contact 844-413-3065 or visit AOGC.com.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Rowland. For over 31 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here in-house financing program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
So this one time at B-Dubs, a couple of friends came in for football, and they asked for the best seats in the house, which is kind of a trick question. Since we've got wall-to-wall TVs, you can watch the game in any direction. Kind of makes every seat in the house the best seat in the house. So when I explained all that, they just sat at the bar, because you got to be close to the beer on game days. Come into Buffalo Wild Wings for the absolute best game day experience the NFL can offer. Buffalo Wild Wings, to the greatest of all times.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Please drink responsibly.
At Frank Rowe Furniture for the month of October, no sales tax and free delivery. You heard it right, no sales tax and free delivery. Frank Rowe Furniture offers made-in-the-USA products and service after the sale. Remember, no sales tax and free delivery in October at Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house. Appliance excluded in sale and delivery must be within a 50-mile range.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, the sweetest fruits of life come from serving others. And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Ask Shelter Agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
The Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation is reaching out to men and their families all across Arkansas. Know your stats. 1 in 9 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. Stay in the game. All men ages 45 to 75 should see a doctor to consider a screening for prostate cancer. Don't sit on the sideline. Prostate cancer is nearly 100% survivable if caught early. For more information, visit arprostatecancer.org.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
Deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Monteric Brown.
Hog Reaction is behind enemy lines thanks to Reed's Metals of Benton and Big Red Stores of Central Arkansas.
And welcome back to a Hog Reaction, taking your calls, your texts, 877-377-6963, coming up here shortly. We are here at Randall Ford, the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America, serving the River Valley since 1908. I'm joined here by Rocky Pruitt, who has the most Tennessee name I have ever heard, and he is a Tennessee fan. So you're wait, real quick. I got to
check his driver's license. Is his real name Rocky?
Is it actually Rocky?
100% right on the birth certificate.
You are a Tennessee fan.
Is his middle name Top? Let's check that.
Is it Rocky Top Pruitt?
No, it is not Top.
I mean, goodness gracious, to have a same last name as a former coach. Your name is Rocky, and I guess you love singing Rocky Top, a song that I've grown up to despise and hate everything orange. But you had a decent day. But the people here in the River Valley and throughout the state of Arkansas, not such a great day, 37-0. But something that can turn their day and their weekend around is the stuff that y'all got going on here at Randall Ford.
Man, I got tons of stuff going on right now. We're buying cars. We're giving all-time highs for trade-ins. Like I said, buying cars. I can cut you a check for your car. You don't have to buy something from me if you're interested in getting rid of that car. We've got really good incentives on a couple of new rigs. I am getting new vehicles. I've got close to around 40. They're on the lot or in transit. So, I mean, I've got stuff coming, whereas a lot of dealers can't say that. So I'm really fortunate.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I know has taken the country by storm, and y'all have got them in stocks, are the new Broncos. And for people that haven't really gotten to see them and they just think of Broncos and they think of the old stuff that they might have had back in the day, what is different about the new Bronco? Kind of what's the old saying, the nostalgia about it?
Man, there's tons of nostalgia. I mean, from the headlamps up front to some of the interior features, it took some of that old school Bronco with some new school technology, blended it into one big beautiful rig, and we've actually got one sitting right behind you in cyber orange, as I would have it.
Wrong color, but still a very, very good looking vehicle. And I know, as always, F-150s are definitely in stock and the best selling truck in America.
Man, 4 decades and running. The F-150, it's a powerhouse. If you haven't seen the new body styles, if you haven't seen the new interior updates, I mean, they went from an 8-inch to a 12-inch screen. That's just one of the couple of things. I mean, they've got all kinds of things on these new F-150s.
Oh, yeah, they really do. I was checking one out from a buddy of mine who just bought one a few weeks ago, and I almost didn't want to get out. I almost wanted to slam the door in his face and drive off in it because those things are nice. And if you come out here to Randall Ford, what can people expect to get that they can't get anywhere else?
Man, hospitality. We've been around since 1908. I mean, we haven't been around that long because we're rude people. I mean, we're going to make you feel right at home. We've got the inventory to show you. If it isn't Ford, for example, I've got Chevys, I've got some GMs, I've got Dodge, I've even got a Mercedes sitting out here. I mean, I've got all kinds of different stuff out here. Come on by and have a seat, man. Let's do some talking.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the best place to buy a vehicle right now here in the River Valley. And Rocky, before we let you go, I will give you 5 seconds. I'll give you 5-10 seconds to talk about your volunteers because it seems like you are enjoying your day.
Man, and it's just today. They had a great game. The little bit I got to keep up, of course, I'm selling cars. I was kind of busy. I'd get a 30-second clip here or there, but man, I'm excited to see what we've got going. I think Coach Heupel, I think he's going to be the real deal for us. I know we've been saying that for 20 years now, but maybe this is actually it.
Well, Rocky, you're already my favorite Tennessee fan because you have gone a whole 10 minutes without saying it feels like 98. So I really appreciate that.
All right, nothing wrong with that. Clint Sterner's the man.
I appreciate that. That is Rocky Pruitt.
Low blow, below the belt.
Low blow there by Rocky. Come on, man. You got to know who you're buying. Who you're buying. Your selling base is. Come on, man. You can't
I
be.
Get that.
Keep the gloves up.
Yeah, keep them up. Rocky, I appreciate you joining us, and everybody come on out. Come see my man Rocky here at Randall Ford. Have a good one, man.
Thanks for having me, Drew.
All right, Tommy, back to hog reaction and the stuff that we saw today from Athens, Georgia. Just not a pretty sight. 37-0 as Arkansas loses its first game of the season. Do we have anybody on hold?
Let's get to some text. We have a couple of lines open. Got some folks on hold. So we got 2 lines open right now if you want to jump in. 877-377-6963. We got text stacking up here. Do you have the the text groove out there? Can you see it there?
I do.
I didn't ask you, so.
I do. I'm trying to just quickly proofread
pre-edit.
Okay, I'll go to somebody that I know is always good. BE in Clarksville.
Yeah.
He texts us in a couple times. Dude, Georgia is ... good. Georgia is beatable, just not today by us. And I don't know where he saw Georgia being beatable.
Well,
I mean, because they're running their second-string quarterback out there, too.
Well, I think he's 1A. I mean, both those guys have played a lot of meaningful snaps this year, but I think actually you'd have been better off with JT Daniels. He's less mobile. He's not the running quarterback. So Stetson Bennett starting probably was a detriment to Arkansas because when the few times Arkansas did have good coverage and flushed him out of the pocket, he's just more capable of scrambling. So even a healthy JT Daniels may have been a little easier to deal with because he's just less of a running quarterback.
And we get another text out of the 479. This is Brandon in Huntington. A little bit more on the negative side. Says Pittman said the days of Arkansas getting embarrassed were over. Well, they got embarrassed today. Stetson Benton didn't have to throw today. They ran it down our throats. Not sure why we didn't just load the box, but Benton can't throw. Well, I mean, what do you expect him to do there, Brandon? Do you want us to put 6 on the front line?
Well, you thought maybe you would bring a 4th lineman up and maybe run a 4-man front, but I don't. At that point, what did matter? Arkansas wasn't getting a push with 3. I don't think if they'd ran a 5-man front, it was going to matter. So Arkansas, just outclassed today by a much better Georgia team, and you learn from it and you move on. But I don't think what we're seeing with Ole Miss right now, what we're seeing with anybody else in the SEC West. Name me another team other than Bama in the West right now, and then what's left on your schedule in the SEC that you say, hey, other than Bama, we can't win that football game. So I mean, LSU,
Nobody.
Nope. Auburn, nope. Mississippi State, nope. Ole Miss, right now, they're suffering a similar fate today. So,
they came into having more of a high-powered offense than Arkansas, and Alabama's got a great defense, but nobody really put their defense on the same level as Georgia. So you're feeling pretty confident about it.
Yeah. So I mean, what we might be seeing is there's Georgia and Bama on one shelf, and then we skip a shelf, and then and there's Arkansas and Ole Miss, and then you drop down and Florida. You'd have to put Florida on that shelf too. So those are the next three teams. I think A&M, until proven otherwise, they're behind those teams because Arkansas beat them. So I think it's those two clearly. Now Florida's going to have something to say with that head-to-head. Florida lost to Bama, so I think we're starting to get some clear hierarchy and separation now that we're 5 weeks into the season.
And Derek from Fayetteville brings up the point that we talked about last segment, saying that nobody has had to climb out of the hole what Sam has, and that's something that everybody needs to really sit back and reflect on. It's 4-0. The hype was there, top 10. They showed all the things that you haven't been 4-0 since 2003. You haven't been in the top 10 since 2012. Heck, this season already is something we haven't seen since 1988 in beating Texas and A&M in the same season. There's still plenty to celebrate, and just reflect on where you were this time 2 years ago, where it was hard to wear an Arkansas shirt, hat, anything Arkansas pale out in public and not be afraid you weren't going to get laughed at. Right? Today, even with the laying the goose egg, getting skunked 37-0, there's still plenty of reasons to have pride and to wear your Arkansas gear with it.
Yeah, I don't think any of that's diminished today. We hadn't received one text, one call, one nothing. I hadn't seen anything on Twitter that would even resemble someone taking that approach. But we'll get. We're going to get over this, and then by Tuesday or so, we'll be on to Ole Miss. And the team's got to do it much faster than that. But in the end, you played a great team today, and you found out it was a good measuring stick. I put on Twitter before the game, Drew. I don't know if you saw it. I put on Facebook. Hey, this is when you're going to find out how big an old boy are you. We found out that Georgia's a bigger old boy than us. So. For every heavyweight champion out there, there's someone that can knock him out. And you found out today Arkansas wasn't quite the heavyweight champion of the world. So,
yeah, ultimately,
we've got a lot of boxing references in today. So
we really have, between the broadcast on ESPN and us today. We're really carrying the boxing theme and torque.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's exactly. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. That's what it felt like. It felt like you were coming out against a Mike Tyson, a Rocky Marciano, a Muhammad Ali, just Manny Pacquiao type of guy. Somebody that has that credibility, has done it before, and that's another thing. Georgia, they're not the new kid on the block. Right? They've been around. They have made these trips around the sun at being a top 5, top 10 program. So you see today that you're not there yet, but I still feel like you got to have some hope for the future that one day you will be able to contend for that heavyweight title belt.
Yeah, and I think Arkansas, because of their reputation of being physical, knowing what Sam Pittman tries to do at the line of scrimmage with his football teams, Georgia took this as a manhood test today. They understood what they were getting into. They trained for this fight today because they knew that they were going to be in one if they weren't ready. And they took Arkansas serious today. I don't think there's any question about that. So they knew what was at stake. They knew what was coming. And they lined up and were they were the bigger boy today. That's just how it boils down today. We found out who won the fight. It was pretty clear at the line of scrimmage, and Arkansas did nothing to help themselves throughout this.
Yeah, that is the biggest problem is, the penalties have got to be worked out, and you can blame it on noise, you can blame it on hype, you can blame it on whatever you want to out there, but penalties have to be stopped. You just can't afford 13, and, we had the caller bring up the fact that we saw one play, a punt with 3 different penalties on Arkansas. They asked Herbstreit and Fowler if they'd ever seen that before. Tommy, as a referee,
No.
you've seen a lot more games. Have you ever been a part of where you have 3 individual penalties on the same play?
Not at that level, certainly. I don't recall any college games where that's happened. I think it's happened in some. I mean, let me tell you, if you ever referee 7th grade football, anything can happen. So I mean, and some of that stuff when you're coming up, but yeah, that was an unusual. And listen, they go back and they show them, and guess what? All 3 of them were fouls. All 3 of them were fouls on Arkansas. You can't run up and run safety and run right into the neutral zone at the snap. That's easy, free play. The holding was clearly there. I mean, there were some guys on Twitter, getting at me a little bit about the PI calls and whether they were catchable or uncatchable. But most of those plays today, there was clear contact and clear holding and restriction on those plays. So, in the end, none of that matters. That's not why you lost the game. You lost the game because Georgia was better at the line of scrimmage and ran it downhill all day at their will, how they wanted to do it, and you couldn't do anything to stop it.
You really couldn't. Before we go to break, I do want to read just partially of this text message because, Tommy, I think this text message shows that I have truly become an Arkansan here from the 479. Guys, you and most of the state have your hog glasses on. It's not that we lost, it's how we lost. We embarrassed ourselves on a national stage. A dozen or so penalties, a muff fair catch, missed field goal, a block, etc. But the thing that I took out of that, Tommy, is that somebody thinks that I have hog color glasses on, that I own a pair. So that means I have truly established myself as an Arkansan.
All right, Glenn in Paris sends, and this is a lengthy text, Glenn. We appreciate you typing all of that out, and we don't have time to read all of that, but
yeah,
what did we not, out of that list of how do we have hog glasses? And we covered every bit of those self-inflicted mistakes, Glenn, the penalties. The muff fair catch that cost Arkansas 18 yards of field position. The block punt that led to the immediate score. Yeah, it was embarrassing. I don't know any other way to phrase it. So, I mean, I don't know where the homerism is that you're accusing of. I think we're calling it like we see it, as most of the reaction here on Hog Reaction has been. So,
I think so too. We'll get to more of your texts and calls on the other side. This is the Hog Reaction brought to you by Game Day Lodge, the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, pool, poker table, arcade, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, and even 2 gas grills. They've got cornhole, outdoor basketball court, and heated indoor swimming pool and sauna open year-round in walking distance of the Game Day Lodge. And that's only 5 minutes of a walking distance from Table Rock Lake, 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City, the perfect vacation spot for any sporting event around the area, whether that's the Razorbacks, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, Rangers, even some of those teams we don't necessarily like so much in the Missouri Tigers, Oklahoma Sooners, or even those Rock Talk Jayhawks. Great golf courses are in the area, incredible restaurants all around as well. Find them on at Airbnb or contact and reservations at lakelodges.rent. They're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. That's Jason and Sarah Everett. Big hog fans, best place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. Game Day Lodge. When we come back, more of your texts, more of your calls here on Hog Reaction, 877-377-6963. Right back here on ESPN Arkansas.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, a complete dealership at Randall Ford, front to back, whether you're looking for the service, looking for the state-of-the-art paint and body shop, or whether you're looking for sales up front. And Jordan, one of the things about Randall Ford being a complete, buy, sell, and trade dealership, if someone is in the market for a new vehicle, this is the place to come. But if they're also just wanting to sell their vehicle, they can come by here and sell it to Randall Ford.
Absolutely. We are always looking for good used inventory, and that's the best place to find it is customers who just don't need the use for the ride anymore.
You're exactly right. If you want to sell your vehicle, stop in and see us. Or if you bought a vehicle from someone else and you're kind of regretting that you didn't purchase the warranty, at Randall Ford, you can buy the warranty here.
Absolutely. We've got some great warranty companies that really stand behind their product, and we're proud to sell them. Not only are we proud to sell them, our service advisors are proud to use them because they're not on hold for hours.
Stop in and see us at Randall Ford.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
The 33rd Annual Greenwood Open Car Show returns to the square in Greenwood on Saturday, October 9th from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. This is a top 100 show with special awards for Best of Show car, truck, motorcycle, and rat rod. Entry forms online at greenwoodarcarshow.com and Facebook, or register day of show from 8 a.m. till 11 at the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce. Rain or shine, don't miss the 33rd Annual Greenwood Open Car Show Saturday, October 9th from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. on the square in Greenwood. Fun for the entire family and free admission for spectators.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
I tell you, Jeb, I'm fed up with the heat, the bugs, the high prices. I'm gonna look for a new place to live.
You're gonna call Ellie Gladwell? She helped you get this house.
Nah, the place I'm looking for is far away, way far away.
Why don't you sleep on it?
I done slept on it. I slept on it for 20 years. I got ideas, Jeb, big ideas. You wait, you'll see.
NickandEllie.com, Equal Housing Opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Rowland. For over 31 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here in-house financing program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautoSalesInc.com.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
This is Hog Reaction, live at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
AJ spins away at the 30, still on his feet. He's going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Post-game coverage is presented by Game Day Lodge, the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team-building activities. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Airbnb.
I'm behind Lisa on the bridge, and I have jumped off. I am in the river.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
And welcome back into hour number 2 of Hog Reaction, here with you live from Randall Ford on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith for about another 53 minutes. I'm Drew Barrett, Tommy Kraft back in studio as we will be here for another 53 minutes on this Hog Reaction after a 37-0 intro, 37-0 loss to Georgia. Like you heard in the intro, I hope nobody is on the bridge. This is not a time to jump.
No.
This is not a time to panic. Everything's fine, guys. We can all take a deep breath, look towards Ole Miss next week, look towards Auburn, and Ole Miss down 35-0 right now early in the third quarter. So you feel pretty good about next week.
Yeah, bless their hearts. Hate to see it. So.
As somebody who grew up where I did, I always truly had full admiration for the University of Mississippi. Yeah. And if you believe that, then I've got some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona. I'm out here at Randall Ford, as exactly where you need to be. I know you're feeling sad. I know you're disappointed, but come out here and see all the great things they have to offer here at Randall's Ford. Nothing better to turn your mood around this weekend than buying a new or pre-owned vehicle, and they've got plenty of them. New F-150s are in stock, 0% for 72 months financing on those F-150s throughout this weekend. New Super Duties in stock, huge pre-owned vehicles. We had Rocky on the last hour. He's talking about how they are ready to buy your vehicle. You don't even have to try. You don't even have to buy one of theirs. You can just outright sell it right here, no problem. Top dollar right here at Randall's Ford, the fourth oldest Ford store in America. They've been nominated best of the best in over 5 categories, including best new cars, best used cars, best salesman, best body shops, best service department. You name it, you're getting the best of it right here at Randall's Ford, serving the River Valley since 1908. 877-377-6963. Going to go back to the phone lines. Big Mike in Waldron has been holding on. Big Mike, what is your Hog Reaction?
You remember that time we got the hell beat out of us down there at Auburn, and Charles Barker come in the booth with Chuck and Keith? Remember what he said? It's just one game.
Yeah.
It's just one dang game. I don't know if we got outmanned or they just know how to block better than we know how to get off blocks. And there was that one thing Quinn kept talking about, how every time we moved their line over, they ran the other way. So there wasn't just the players. There was a little bit of coaching problem, too. But anyway, I think we'll go down there and beat Ole Miss next week. Go Hogs. See y'all later.
Hey, Big Mike. Yeah, Big Mike hung up.
Nah.
You may not know.
What were you going to ask Big Mike?
Well, I was going to ask Big Mike. You won't remember when UNLV came in to the old Barnhill Arena and played a 1-versus-2 basketball matchup, and he ran by the bench and told Nolan a little something. And do you know what Larry told what he told Nolan?
I do not.
He said, "Go get you some men." Well, Arkansas's got a few men along that lineup, but I think you need some bigger men. You need more men. Because I think that's what we saw today is you need more men. You win with grown men, grown bleep men at the line of scrimmage. That's what you win with in this league. Georgia had a bunch of them.
Yeah,
and
they
do. Go get you some. I'm not saying Ridgeway and Utsey and both Williams. They're men, but you need more of them because they just kept running fresh, grown men in there, and they had them both sides of the ball, and that. Anyone with one eye could see today what happened. I mean, Georgia was just bigger and badder at the line of scrimmage. So I'd borrow that old phrase. Chuck's right, too, Big Mike, but I think I'd go back, I don't know, that'd be close to 30 years right now. I guess it'd be 30 years ago when UNLV came in here with some men and told Nolan to go get some men. So I'd borrow that
I'm
phrase.
guessing that had to be somewhere around the early 90s,
yeah,
right?
It was. That was a big-time game. Big-time game. So. But Sunday morning, got out of class that day, in a huge matchup, and a different sport, but principle still applies. Same thing still applies here. So at the end of the day, Arkansas is just going to have to do more at the line of scrimmage, and that's not solved just with practice and more coaching technique. I hear you, Mike, on the stemming they were doing, moving the line over, and then that one they ran a blitz through, and Arkansas just the running backs weren't always equipped to pick up and chip block that blitzing linebacker. And then one time they brought two on a blitz, and Jefferson was just done. I mean, there was just nothing. They couldn't block them all. So, I mean, that's what happened. They moved over. The line made no adjustment. There was a wide open gap, and bam, you were sitting duck.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. And when you got DBs as skilled and as well prepared as Georgia does, you can't really expect KJ to try to force something. And we saw him try to force a few, and it just didn't work.
Oh, on those plays, he had no time. I mean, those were linebacker blitzes that they were on him in a hiccup. I mean, there was nothing that they could do. But Mike's talking about that line stemming or shifting late in the cadence, and then the line has to make a different call. And we saw. You wouldn't remember this game, but Arkansas played Toledo in the Bielema era, and they came in and did some of that same stuff, some of that movement up front, pre-snap, and it just confused the heck out of Arkansas, and they won that day. Arkansas wasn't ready for it, so that wasn't the reason Arkansas lost today, and that wasn't a huge part of what Georgia did. They did do some of that, but that opened up some lanes, and Arkansas did not have enough experience with the one back to pick those guys up. And, you just leave your quarterback just as a sitting duck back there, and that's what happened. But what I saw a few times is they got back there when KJ was trying to carry the ball, they'd get to him at the line or they'd get him in that situation. They had a hell of a time bringing him down. I mean, he's 250 and he's solid. I mean, those big guys from Georgia, he wasn't an easy tackle today when he got going. Even when he didn't get going, he still wasn't an easy tackle for him. No, he wasn't. I mean, KJ – while, statistically and not the best game, but honestly, I don't know where you're really angry, at KJ because of what he was facing and what all of them were facing. I mean, it was getting outgunned and outmanned at a lot of different spots. And to go back to your UNLV analogy of go get you some men, of Mike's analogy of what Sir Charles said, it's only one game. Right. What happened right after that What happened just a few years after that UNLV game, Tommy? Well, they opened Bud Walton Arena, and they beat the snot out of Missouri in the first game and went on to win a national championship. Exactly. There's always one of those games. They went and got some men. A guy named Corliss Williamson is who they built a championship
and that is a man.
And that's a man. Yeah.
Exactly. And you can look at anything throughout the history of sports and, not trying to – quote-unquote, have our Razorback or our Hog goggles on here like we've been accused of out of the 4-7-9. But there's always that defining moment of when you're building up, when your program is getting going, when you're maybe as you are now ahead of schedule, where you get back brought down to reality, where you realize, okay, we're not there yet. And then what happens? You ultimately fix those things. You get to the mountaintop, you reach the top of it, and then 15 years later, they're making a 30 for 30 out of it, right? And I'm not trying to say that's exactly what's going to happen, but this isn't something new where a team gets ahead of schedule and then gets knocked back down a little bit of a peg and has to figure out their way to come back from it. So it's going to be interesting as we see how they react to this going forward in the next coming weeks of the season. The first to start off with down in Ole Miss against the Rebels. 877-377-6963. Taking your calls, taking your texts, and we do get a text from Big Mike in Waldron. He says, I remember what Larry said. What I meant was when the Hogs moved our D-line, Quinn said Georgia ran the other way. Yeah. So that's apparently what he was trying to say. Okay, I thought he was talking about when they blitzed and they moved their D-line. So, anyway, but Chuck's right, and I think we're both right. You got to put the game behind you, but you got to go get some more men at some point. So if you want to get to where you want to be. I mean, recruiting is doing well.
Exactly. You don't plant tomatoes on Sunday and pick them on Friday. I mean, it just takes a little time, all right? You put the seed in the ground, you water it, you fertilize it, you nurture it, and in time, you get the fruit. So we just got to wait a little time here. So
that's exactly what you have to do. And, I don't think that anyone realistic would expect anything different. And all the recruits and the guys that Sam Pittman has been talking to, has been recruiting, I don't think anything that they saw today is going to push them away from Arkansas. If anything, it might encourage them to say, hey, this is already a top 10 team. They're right below they just lost to a tier 1. They're somewhere around tier 2, maybe even high tier 3. Maybe I'm the piece. Maybe I'm the guy that can get them on that tier. And, a lot of athletes want to be on that up-and-coming train. They want to get the seat on the train early before it reaches its destination.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We have two lines open right now. 877-377-6963 is our phone number. You can call or text the show. Brian is in Ozark. Brian, what is your hog reaction?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're well, Brian.
Doing
how are
well.
you?
So, I'd just like to say, I know that Arkansas has had 4 pretty decent games so far this year, and I like, kind of remind people that first time Arkansas started out 4-0 in 20 years. Okay, so they're off to a season that could, they could have a really good season, something that they haven't done in a very long time.
03 was the last time. Yeah.
So the simple fact is the expectations that, realistically that Arkansas was going to beat Georgia is really kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of like a David and Goliath situation because Georgia has all these 5 stars, like you said, first round guys going in the first round. Next year, Arkansas has 0. So I mean, Arkansas was outmatched in every position. Not that they're in a building process. They're 2 or 3 years away from being a very good football team and a good coach. So when people are posting all this stuff, bad stuff about Arkansas jumping off the bandwagon, and remember, these are young guys. Take what you got, and if Arkansas goes 7-5 or 8-4, that's the best that Arkansas is going to get this year. And be happy. You could be 2-10, and 3-9, and 2-10 like you have been the last few years. So, Arkansas's got better days coming. People need to just smile and say, this is a loss, that we were never going to win this game. That's why they were an 18-point underdog. Y'all have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Brian. I think most were hoping to keep it close. I mean, I was just thumbing through my Hogs Illustrated that Clay sent me for the week, and there was only one of the pickers that he puts in the magazine predicting the scores that picked Arkansas to win, and that was Clay. Everyone else had Georgia winning the game. So, Brian, I think a lot of people saw it kind of the way you described it. We were hopeful that it wouldn't be as wide a margin today as it ended up being. Arkansas had a little bit to do with their own demise, but Georgia had a whole lot more to do with it. So you found out it's a good measuring stick. And I keep coming back to that. You found out today where you stood, and sometimes it's a tough reality when you get the answer. But today you found out you weren't ready for that environment on the road against a top 5 team. And you go back to the drawing board, you figure out how to fix those deficiencies, you recruit your way out of some of it, you win some of that. You used to say you win those games in February. I guess you say you win them in December now. But, you don't win that game's not necessarily won in the locker room or the film room. A game like that today is won on the recruiting trail. And those things just simply take time.
It is. And, I know we talk about how it's going to take time and, and just to keep beating the drum that we don't think that the guys on this team aren't talented. I think they have
just
a
need more
lot
of
of talent. It's just exactly. We talked about throughout the week of the difference in 5-star guys that Georgia has. You heard Shane Beamer talk about it the other week about what do they do on defense that's so special, and he goes on this 30-second to a minute-long rant of, well, they got 1,000 5-stars. What do you expect me to do? Like, come on. Like that type of thing. And, we laughed at him then, but it's ultimately, it really is true that they just are bigger, faster, stronger right now. That doesn't mean that Georgia can't get back to that 877-377-6963 for your calls and your texts here on Hog Reaction. Tommy, before we I know we probably need to get to the break here in a second, but one thing as an official yourself that was unique that we saw 3 times, and this was from Georgia actually, the too many people in the backfield on a punt. Can you explain that to me and our audience?
Yeah, the rule is you can't have more than 4 backs on any play from the line of scrimmage. So what happened with Georgia, they had their punter, their up backs, and their semi-shield protection. The wide receivers were on the line, but really what you saw was the tight end and the tackle. And, the TV broadcast did a good job of kind of pointing this out. They were not up enough on the line. And you'll see this with offensive lines, generally in pass blocking where they're trying to get an edge by being back as far as they can off of the line of scrimmage to get that space between them and a really good defensive end. Well, 3 different times Georgia just was not getting the tackle and tight end, I believe it was, the end men on the line of scrimmage up on. The wide receivers out were on. They just simply had too many people in the backfield. And the unbelievable or the ironic thing is Georgia didn't correct that in game. And I'm certain that somebody on that sideline was asking what's going on. They've got film access on the sideline to look at it. I'm sure they got clarification as to why it was being called. So how do you not fix that in game? That's a simple alignment issue. So, yeah, I mean, it's just simply put, too many men in the backfield. You can't have more than 4.
Yeah, it was real bizarre. And but then again, the special teams coordinator is Will Muschamp. So I don't know how much that actually played a role in it. 877-377-6963. We'll get to more of your calls and your texts on the other side of the break. Also going to go behind enemy lines and talk with Ty Richmond. Before we go to break, do want to remind you that this is Hog Reaction, brought to you by Game Day Lodge. 10 bedrooms, 19 beds. 19 beds for 28 guests, pool tables, poker tables, arcades, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, fire pits, and 2 gas grills, cornhole, outdoor basketball goal, heated indoor swimming pool, and sauna for year-round access in walking distance. Also walking distance from Table Rock Lake, 10-minute drive from Silver Dollar City. Great golf courses in the area, included incredible restaurants around as well. For reservations, contact them at reservations@lakelodge.net. Jason and Sarah Everett, big-time Hog fans. They want you to fill up their place. Perfect place for corporate retreat, golf trips, and team building. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and also on Airbnb. When we come back, more of your Hog reactions on the other side, right here on ESPN Arkansas.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
Checking in again at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Absolutely gorgeous fall weather now in the River Valley. The leaves are starting to change. The temperatures are being a little bit nicer to us in the afternoon, Jordan, and certainly in the morning. But the deals continue to be red hot at Randall Ford, and if someone's looking for the Broncos sport, this is the place to stop in.
Absolutely. Not only are we going to get them in brand new, but, Jimmy, we've got a couple used ones out there that are ready to go.
You know, the thing I like about it is you have them all the way from the Broncos sport up to the Ford Raptor. So no matter what they're looking for, work trucks, luxury trucks, big old Tonka toy trucks, you have them all, and they're in stock.
Yep, we got something for every customer. We want to be like you said, from that start to finish. We want to help out anybody and everyone we can.
How's the Baylor Bears doing?
Hey, man, it's a great season so far. I can't complain.
Football is back, and the deals continue to be hot at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. 4th oldest Ford dealership in America. Come see us at Randall Ford.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
At Frank Rowe Furniture for the month of October, no sales tax and free delivery. You heard it right, no sales tax and free delivery. Frank Rowe Furniture offers made-in-the-USA products and service after the sale. Remember, no sales tax and free delivery in October at Frank Rowe Furniture. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house. Appliance excluded in sale and delivery must be within a 50-mile range.
Whole Hog Cafe on Phoenix Avenue is now open 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Whole Hog Cafe has party packs for your watch party, tailgate party, business meetings, or lunch and dinner for the family. You will see a few new items on the menu to go along with the award-winning barbecue and sides. Whole Hog Cafe, Phoenix Avenue, offers online ordering at wholehogfortsmith.com, along with curbside and delivery service. Or come see us 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Follow Whole Hog Cafe on Facebook and Instagram for specials.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Ask Shelter agents Ted McAvoy or Jeff Clark about a free insurance review.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
Links at Chaffee Crossing, located in Fort Smith, has the best barbecue in the River Valley, hands down. Check out Links at Chaffee Crossing's Facebook page for their daily specials and live music schedule. Links at Chaffee Crossing has dine-in or patio dining with a full view of the golf course. Also, stop by their full bar for a cold beer or a cocktail. Need a place to watch the Hog games? Links at Chaffee Crossing has that too. Get linked up at Links at Chaffee Crossing, 11707 Custard Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Messy leaks, stopped up toilets and sinks, all of these can be a nightmare. This is Emily with Mr. Rooter Plumbing in Fort Smith. Did you know that when you call Mr. Rooter, you get real-time tracking so you know exactly when to expect us? We know you're busy, so we send a reminder, so scheduling with us is convenient. When you need plumbing, call Mr. Rooter in Fort Smith or book online at mrrooter.com. We're your neighborly company.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
Deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Monteric Brown.
Hog Reaction is behind enemy lines thanks to Reed's Metals of Benton and Big Red Stores of Central Arkansas.
That is right. Announcement, man, we are behind enemy lines as Ty Richardson is down in Athens, Georgia. We'll go to Ty here in a second. Do want to remind you, while he's down there, I'm right here in the River Valley. I'm here at Randall Ford, and it's the best place you got to be this weekend. Turn that frown upside down with a new truck, Bronco, new SUV, anything you like, they got it out here right now, including those new F-150s in stock, 0% for those F-150s for 72 months. Financing throughout this weekend. America's #1 best-selling brand is that F-150. They've got Super Duties in stock, huge pre-owned vehicles. Like I said, the Broncos are in stock, and they're selling like hotcakes out here at Randall Ford, the fourth oldest Ford store in America, family-owned and operated, serving the River Valley, Fort Smith since 1908. Ty Richardson behind enemy lines. We go to him now. Ty, how was your day in Athens? Was it good? Did you enjoy yourself? What did you see?
Well, we saw a football game, or I guess you could call it that. Arkansas looked just didn't look ready from the jump, and I was thinking about this as we kind of entered the stadium and felt the atmosphere itself. Guys, Arkansas hadn't played in a road game in 2 years. Now you could say, well, Ty, they went on the 4 SEC trips last year, whatever. That's not a road game. What we saw today in Athens, Georgia, is what SEC football is all about. When you got 90,000 screaming fans that want to make sure that you drive home with your head in your lap. And that's exactly what Arkansas did today. There really weren't a lot of positives to take away from that game. And the crowd just, from the jump, got to Arkansas, and they just couldn't come back after that.
No, this was big boy SEC foot. This was, Chuck said this right before or during the pregame show. This was as SEC as it gets. Playing at Georgia, full house between the hedges. You could feel it through the TV. This was big boy football today, and big boy atmosphere. And it was a great measuring stick ball game. But you're exactly right. The crowd early on, you could see it through the false start penalties, the inability to communicate. The crowd had an effect on the Razorbacks, it shook them, and it took them a while to overcome that. They eventually did, and were able to string together some plays and get some first downs. Never got to the end zone, obviously. But, Ty, the crowd clearly had an effect. That atmosphere clearly had an effect on the Razorback offense.
Yeah, bad day for Dalton Wagner. A few false start penalties. The communication, it's a lot more difficult. I think Arkansas ended up with 105 penalty yards in the football game. And I know Sam Pittman and company, that's going to be a huge thing when they talk tomorrow. And it was probably in the post-game discussion and will be on the trip home back to Fayetteville. But they've got some things to clean up. And I know everyone's probably kind of really frustrated with how the game went out. But before the season, we said there's two games that Arkansas can probably still not compete in. We said Alabama and we said Georgia. Now, after the first four games, we kind of changed our tune a little bit. A lot of people picked Arkansas to win. I was heading that direction. Luckily, I stayed with my pick. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it ended up being a lot worse than we actually thought. But if we go back to what we originally thought about this game weeks ago before the season began, we didn't think Arkansas was going to be able to compete. Unfortunately, that argument holds up, and we just kind of have to sit here and wonder how they're going to look next week at Ole Miss when they take on Matt Corral and the Rebels.
Yeah, and I think that's what you just talked about is I think what a lot of people are disappointed about here, sitting here at 5 o'clock, about 3 hours after the game got wrapped up, is that you did get blown out. A lot of us thought, especially us talking heads who did this for a living, thought that while it might be a reach for Arkansas to win the game, to outright win, I think most of us were looking at that 18.5 spread. I think it closed out at 16.5 this morning. But most of us were looking at that spread going, that's too many points. I mean, that is somewhat of a disrespect to Arkansas. And ultimately, the boys in Vegas, they know what they're doing. There's a reason they give out free lobster out there, because the house hardly loses. So I think that was the biggest thing, was that you didn't cover the spread, and you did look like you didn't belong.
Yeah, they did not cover the spread. You're exactly right, Drew. And I did not bet on them.
Didn't cover the spread. You didn't score a point. What do you mean didn't cover the spread?
So,
what do you mean?
Luckily enough, didn't bet on them. Won some money on them last week. Held off because I was thinking road atmosphere. Who knows how this game is going to go down? And I know that there was a lot that was said about Nolan Smith's comments before the game, earlier this week, talking about how they wouldn't even let the New England Patriots get in the red zone. And I know Traylon Smith had some fun with that on social media. But I mean, that defense is for real. And we're watching Alabama. I know Ole Miss scored in the third quarter, but we're watching Alabama just kick the Rebels' hide right now. That is going to be a fun SEC championship. I know Georgia still has to go through Florida Gators and Jacksonville, but I'm really excited to see what Bryce Young and I don't know what the status of JT Daniels is. Stetson Bennett had to play today, but that's going to be a fun game. But you bet on Arkansas, money line or the spread. You did not come out on the right side today, gentlemen.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Alabama-Ole Miss game. It's 35-7 right now, headed to the fourth quarter. Alabama has been in command in this ball game. Ole Miss did not put any points up till the third quarter. They took the opening drive down and then got held on fourth down in the red zone inside the 10, but they have not been a threat today to Alabama at all in this ball game. So Arkansas and Ole Miss will likely be teams perhaps inside the top 20, but probably outside the top 15, Ty, when they meet next Saturday in Oxford.
Yeah, this is probably going to be AFC. You're looking at them there, Tom. Probably agree on that. I doubt after both teams got crushed, they're going to put it on CBS. But what do I know? These networks, they decide what they want, and they usually go about in ways that we don't expect. So expect an 11 a.m. kickoff next week. And I mean, it's going to be a good football game. Now, it won't have the same luster it would have if both teams or one of the teams was able to pull off a victory today. But when the Rebels and the Razorbacks get together, it is a fun football game for those making it to the Grove next weekend. As have a good time. And I think Arkansas is going to come out a lot hotter than they did today. They just came out flat. And I think today was good because, let's be honest, this team, regardless if they say it or not, has been reading their press clippings. I know that a lot of these guys don't read newspapers, but they're not on hitthatline.com, Hogbeat, Hog Sports, Whole Hog Sports, whatever. But they are on social media. And for them to get direct messages, mentions, tags, whatever, how great they do, that gets into the psyche a little bit. And I don't necessarily think they were overconfident heading in today, but today was a wake-up call that there's still a lot of work to be done against the premier teams in college football, and I think that was well on display today.
Now, I know LSU and Auburn still play tonight, and they'll have something to say about this, but Arkansas and Ole Miss seem to be playing next week for what it appears early as second place in the Western Division. Now, LSU and Auburn are still in that equation right now, and really, quite honestly, everybody mathematically is in it with just one game. Arkansas now is one of the few teams in the West that has 2 games complete at this point. There will be a few more later, but I think it's a reasonable approach with your team if you're Sam Pittman or Lane Kiffin next week, guys, to say, listen, you want to finish second in the West, this is a game we got to have. And whether you're a Rebel or a Razorback next week, I think that's what's in the balance next week in Oxford.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption based on the standings right now. Auburn, LSU haven't been overly impressive to this point, and Alabama and Georgia are in such a class of their own that it's just hard to surmount any opposition from other West or East teams. And for Arkansas and Ole Miss, and then tonight's game between LSU and Auburn, it's a chance to kind of like make statements. And I think or next week's game is going to be a little more of a statement game for either Ole Miss or Arkansas. But it doesn't get much easier. You're still going to have to play Alabama. You're still going to have to go to Death Valley. Obviously, you'll be in Oxford like we're talking about for next week. And this is the toughest schedule in college football. Luckily enough, you've gotten 2 wins that were less than iffy. You didn't think you were going to get them in some cases, and you beat both Texas and Texas A&M. So you're ahead of schedule. But you don't want to end up like last season where you had, and I can't remember the number of losses, but you lost how many games was down the stretch. You want to get back on track, and one of the ways you can do that is by beating Ole Miss next week. And they're going to have to bring it against Matt Corral, who's not only going to be motivated based on what's happening right now, but based on him throwing 6 interceptions against you last year.
Well, you say it won't get much easier, but Ty, I got to tell you, I don't know how it gets any harder than it was today in Athens.
Yeah.
I don't see how it does get any harder though. But Ty, real quick, what was your experience behind enemy lines? I mean, Georgia fans, very good hospitality. Yay, nay. What was the experience like in the stands today?
So I would say from the airport reception, people were pretty nice, like leading up to the game. And before the game, there was not a lot of chatter. Now, I will say that is one of the most obnoxious student sections I have ever been around. Parents and the band are directly next to the student section. And every time something happened, they would turn to us and start yelling and shouting things that I can't repeat on air. And obviously, I'm on a work trip, so I have to hold the utmost accord and the utmost standards.
Of course,
in Arkansas,
you're representing
us. I can't
right.
retaliate or respond in any way that would be seen as a bad look for the prestigious Pearson Broadcasting. So I refrained in many cases, but after the game, that's when Georgia fans let us have it a little bit. It was a lot of go Dogs, blank the Hogs, and I think you can fill in the blanket. There were some overrated chants that we got here and there, or y'all sucked and stuff like that. So there was a few Hog fans that I had to pull back a little bit from things making it on the World Star and Twitter fights. But luckily, I have not seen a fight break out on social media between Arkansas and Georgia fans in real life here in Athens, and I did not personally get in one. So I consider that a moral victory for today, gentlemen.
All right. Well, at least we're not Missouri. They got punked by Tennessee, so we got that.
You're right.
All right, we'll reconvene Monday. We'll break it all down again. Have safe travels back tomorrow from Athens.
All right. See you on Monday.
10 o'clock curfew. Be in early, all right?
Yeah. We'll see.
So, Ty Richardson behind Enemy Lines. It's brought to you by Reed's Metals of Benton. They manufacture, buy direct, and save you money on metal roofing, metal buildings, pole barns, and more. For a free quote, call today at 501-776-3825 or visit reedsmetals.com. And by Big Red Convenience Stores in Central Arkansas. Find your nearest location at bigredstores.net. Now more convenient than ever. Athens is just the quintessential college town. I've never not been there, but that's the description I always get, Drew, is that is the most college town in the SEC. That is a bucket list destination for me before I take the dirt nap. I got to get to Athens for a ball game.
Oh yeah. I've definitely got to get there. Never been to Athens, but just like you said, I've heard nothing but but great things. Not only game day atmosphere to after the bar scene, food, and everything like that. I'd also say Auburn's pretty high up there on the list. I've always heard great things about a game day experience on the Plains, and a place that likes to think of itself as on that level is where you're going to be headed next week. To Oxford, Mississippi. It has its charm. It has its
They're pretenders.
Has its good
Let's
things,
be honest. They're pretenders.
There's a lot more bad stuff. Yes, they are. I mean, the Grove is overrated. I've almost been arrested there twice, Tommy. It's not a good place to be.
Go for the trifecta next week.
I could. I might as well go back and see if they'll actually finally put me in the back of the cop car and not just threaten me with a few officers surrounding me and my friends. But so if you are going there and you're not wearing Ole Miss colors, I do suggest you have the utmost precaution and try to stay safe. When we come back, do have some more time for your texts, your calls, 877-377-6963. This is Hog Reaction, brought to you by Game Day Lodge, the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You can call Jason and Sarah. Get in touch with them. They're big Hog fans at reservations at lakelodge.rent. Game Day Lodge. They're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb. While you're there, just don't ask about Game Day Lodge. Also ask about Green Gables Lodge too. But if you're looking at the Game Day Lodge, you'll get 10 bedrooms with 19 beds, up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, fire pit, gas grill, outdoor basketball, heated indoor swimming pool, and sauna, poker, pool tables, arcades, and everything else you could possibly imagine. Great golf courses in the area and incredible restaurants around as well. That's Game Day Lodge. Contact them. Reservations at lakelodges.rent. When we come back, more of your texts, more of your calls, and then we'll wrap up this Hog Reaction and hopefully have a 5-second memory like a goldfish and move on to Oxford. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on ESPN Arkansas.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith is the place to look for your next vehicle at Randall Ford. If you're in the market for a new F-150, if you're looking for an F-250, if you're looking for an F-150 Lariat, maybe you're looking for a Platinum, an STX, all the selection, all the savings. How about an F-250 with the Power Stroke? Big old bad boy toys, man. Looking for Raptors? We have those in stock. Are you looking for Bronco Sports? We also have those in stock. Come by, check out the selection. Hey, don't forget, if you're a little bit busy, of course, I know everybody's life is kind of hectic. You can always shop us online 24/7 at randallford.com. We want to see your smiling face, so stop in and see us. Let us save you some money. It's fall in the River Valley. The temperatures may be getting cooler, but the deals continue to be hot today, my friends, at Randall Ford. Fourth oldest Ford dealership in America. We want your business. Stop in and see us today.
Crabtree RV Center, leading the River Valley in sales and service for over 70 years. Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the largest family-owned and operated RV dealerships in Northwest Arkansas, located on 17 acres, including a 26,000 square foot indoor showroom. Crabtree RV Center has everything you need, all in one convenient location. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas, making your family's dreams come true.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, "The sweetest fruits of life come from serving others." And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
I have so many things that need to be done around the house, like fixing the gate on my fence, painting the front door, and that's just a start. I'm not the best DIY person or even have enough time if I were.
Call the experienced crew at Top Notch Roofing and Construction.
Well, isn't that...
I know what you're going to say, but Top Notch does it all. They service both commercial and residential clients with roofing, siding, windows, gutters, fencing, and remodeling. But they also have a crew that specializes in those honeydew jobs piling up at home.
Thanks, man. I'm calling Top Notch Roofing today.
Top Notch. Everything from roofing to honeydews. Call them today.
When fun finally returns, Bud Light legends don't just come back. They come roaring back, carrying a cooler full of Bud Lights, an inflatable dolphin, and those Velcro pads with the balls that stick to them. And this summer, with a cooler at their side, they're gonna make up for all the fun we've missed. Welcome back, Bud Light legends. It's time to take summer by the coolers. Cooler up at BudLightLegends.com. Enjoy responsibly. 2021 AB Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Links at Chaffee Crossing, located in Fort Smith, has the best barbecue in the River Valley, hands down. Check out Links at Chaffee Crossing's Facebook page for their daily specials and live music schedule. Links at Chaffee Crossing has dine-in or patio dining with a full view of the golf course. Also, stop by their full bar for a cold beer or a cocktail. Need a place to watch the Hog games? Links at Chaffee Crossing has that too. Get linked up at Links at Chaffee Crossing, 11707 Custard Boulevard in Fort Smith.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from Wild World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, Wild World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH for more details, or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers, or visit us online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
For more than 80 years, Forest Grin Inc. has been building the foundations of the River Valley and beyond. Forest Grin, a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence, is now hiring experienced dump truck drivers. CDL Class A or B license with medical card is required. Apply now from any mobile device at forestgrininc.com. A heritage company and a premier employer. Forest Grin offers top wages and benefits. Apply today at forestgrininc.com. Become part of the Forest Grin legacy. Apply now on any device at forestgrininc.com. Forest Grin Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Hog Reaction live at Randall Ford, presented by Game Day Lodge.
Deflected and intercepted. Picked off by Monteric Brown.
Hog Reaction is behind enemy lines thanks to Reed's Metals of Benton and Big Red Stores of Central Arkansas.
Welcome back. Last segment here for Hog Reaction after your Arkansas Razorbacks get blanked, goose-egged by the Georgia Bulldogs 37-0. Going to come up with scores from around the top 25 in SEC. Give me and Tommy final reactions. Do have some time if you want to get in here late with a call or text, 877-377-6963. But before we get into all that, I do want to let you know I'm at the best place to turn your frown upside down, to turn this into a gloom and doom weekend into one of the best weekends of your life, and that's at Randall Ford on Rogers Avenue here in Fort Smith, where they've got so much in stock. It's crazy. They've got new F-150s in stock, 0% for 72 months, financing on those F-150s throughout the weekend. New Super Duties in stock, huge pre-owned inventory, and they're looking to add to that inventory. If you want to sell your car, this is the best place to do it. And they've got more than just Fords. They've got some Chevys. They got some Jeeps. They've even got a Mercedes-Benz right outside that looks pretty nice if you want to get in that. Randall Ford, fourth oldest Ford store in America, nominated for Best of the Best in 5 categories, including Best New Cars, Best Used Cars, Best Salesman, Best Body Shop, and Best Service Department. So when you come to Randall Ford, you're not only getting the fourth oldest store in America, you're getting the best store in America, serving the River Valley since 1908. Tommy, you got the top 25 and SEC scores around the country for us.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the games that are in action in the top 25. Top-ranked Alabama leads Arkansas's next opponent, 12th-ranked Ole Miss. That's 42-7 right now, with 9:40 to go in the ball game. Matt Corral and company have not had a great day against that Alabama defense that's figured it out. Bryce Young, 18 of 23 so far, 220 yards. Matt Corral also Ironically, 18 to 23, just under 200 yards at 186. Again, Alabama leads 42 to 7 right now with just under 10 minutes left in the ball game. Other top 10 action, number 3, Oregon struggling with Stanford today at Stanford. That game is tied at 17 as we near the end of the third quarter. Oklahoma's had its struggles with Kansas State today, but they pulled out a 10-point lead in the early stretches of the fourth quarter. 14:05 left to play. Oklahoma up 27 to 17. Into the third between Ohio State and Rutgers. 11th ranked Ohio State with a huge lead, 52 to 6. SEC action in the top 25. 10th ranked Florida and Kentucky just underway. There's no score in that game yet. 23rd ranked NC State. Scoreless right now with Louisiana Tech. That game just underway midway through the first quarter. Of course, we know that second-ranked Georgia beat Arkansas 37-0. This game has went final in the last 15 minutes or so. One of the best games of the day, 7th-ranked Cincinnati downs Notre Dame in South Bend. 24-13 is the final in that one. And 14th-ranked Michigan takes care of Wisconsin, who falls to 1-3, 38-17. The final between Michigan and Wisconsin. Coastal Carolina 59, UL Monroe 6. Coastal Carolina ranked 16th in the country. Wake Forest, the 24th ranked team, 37-34 over Louisville. Still to come tonight. 15th ranked A&M takes on Mississippi State at 6 o'clock. Number 21 Baylor and Oklahoma State play in Stillwater. Oklahoma State ranked 19th. That game also at 6. 4th-ranked Penn State takes on Indiana tonight at 6:30. And 17th-ranked Michigan State takes on Western Kentucky also at 6:30. And rounding out the non-SEC teams at the bottom of the top 25, Clemson, 25th ranked in the country with Boston College. And then late night tonight in the SEC, LSU and Auburn, 8 o'clock tonight from Death Valley. Let's take a quick look at some of the SEC scores, Drew, before we get out of here today that were not in top 25 action. South Carolina and Troy in the fourth quarter. 12:45 left in that ball game. South Carolina with a touchdown lead, 20-14 at this moment. One other game we want to make sure we let you know about. That was Tennessee. We've referenced it throughout the show. Tennessee absolutely clobbers Missouri today, 62-24. Still to come tonight in unranked matchups in the SEC. Vanderbilt and UConn at 6:30. You can catch that on ESPNU. We mentioned Auburn and LSU. That's a ranked matchup with Auburn ranked at 22nd, LSU unranked. And those are the scores from the top 25 and the SEC.
Yeah, a lot of action in the SEC left to go on this first Saturday of October. As we wind down this hog reaction, Tommy, give me about 30 seconds of your final hog reaction and what you want to see going forward.
And by the way, that scoreboard update brought to you by Bud Light. I think this is a team that just needs to regroup. I think you got to, like we've referenced the Ted Lasso goldfish, got to be a goldfish reference. You got to put it behind you. Watch the film. Pick out what you can that's positive of your coaches. Learn from it. But I think you also got to find the things you can coach up. I think Arkansas will find out more from Sam about how healthy they came out of this game. But you're going to have a chance to play for second place in the West next week. So I think that's got to be the motivating factor. If you're one of these super seniors, you came there to do something that hadn't been done in a while. Well, finishing second in the West hadn't been done in a while either at Arkansas. So you got a chance to play for something pretty special next week in Oxford.
That you haven't, and as you hear the music, we're almost out of time. Thank y'all so much for joining us for Hog Reaction. We'll be back all day, all week. Next week, regular lineup, Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach will be talking about the matchup with Ole Miss, a team that has also been punched in the mouth today, and who will come out victorious next week. Thank y'all so much for joining us here on Hog Reaction, all of our stations on ESPN Arkansas. For Tommy Kraft, I'm Drew Barrett. Have a great Saturday night, and go Hogs.
In the Fort Smith area, I received treatment for my addiction to drugs. My life was completely unmanageable, and I had very little hope for myself.